So we're here with Dylan Weber, A.K.A. Dubbz, and we're talking about music and mental health and how it's kind of affected everybody during, not just during this pandemic, but over the course of time. And so welcome, Dylan. Thank you for joining us during this interview. And my first question here, who are you and what role are you playing in music?
I am the one they call Big Dubbz, Bigdubbz. You can look that up mostly anywhere, at Big Dubbz on Twitter, at Big Dubbz 905 on Instagram, but basically it's at Big Dubbz everywhere else except for Instagram because somebody has at Big Dubbz and I don't. I am a rapper extraordinaire, host, producer, graphic designer, video editor. I'm the in-house consultant for my own team, which is Green Tree Records. Follow us, like I said, Big Dubbz, YouTube. And we got lots of stuff, lots of content. Me and my team have been making music for 10 plus years now. And this is just what we do, you know?
Wow. And that's like, so you're the kind of the head of the horse, so to speak.
I run it. I created it. I'm the one who basically organizes everything from the weekly live shows to the shows that we do when we're out doing concerts, to organizing the music videos, to setting up recording times and making sure everybody's on top of their project. I am the big brain. Almighty big brain. That's why they all call me God. Everybody calls me God. From D&D sessions to the music world, it's the name I've been given.
Sometimes, especially if you're like start knowing from my own experience, and of course probably your experience too, is starting something on your own, you kind of have to know the ins and outs of every single aspect of what you're doing in order to be confident and say, listen, this is what I do. You know what I mean? So it's like you gave 100%. The hardest job job you gave to yourself. So
and right off the hop, I was like, here you go, figure it out. You
can run the whole ship just by yourself, okay?
It's hard, but I do it.
Right. And so getting into the topic of mental health and how it relates to your music, how would you say your music has helped you along during this time? Not just, it doesn't even have to be specific to the pandemic, but during some of the struggles in your life, how has music helped you?
By writing out the crazy thoughts that are in my head and not acting on them. And just, when you're in that depressive low or that slump, I literally, I'll turn on an instrumental and I'll write away how I'm feeling. If I'm angry, I'll just write angry bars and I'll look back at it and maybe I'll scrap the whole thing and take two. But just writing it out, listening to instrumentals and freestyling. Like once a beat comes on and I start freestyling, if I'm in a shitty mood, it'll take me like a song or two and I'll just be like, yeah, okay, da. But as soon as that energy gets in me, I forget everything that ever happened 5 minutes prior to that. And all that it is the music and me in that moment,
Right. And no, I can relate. I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, can relate to that. And, sometimes during struggles, like people want us to talk specifically about how it's COVID-19, but let's be honest with each other. I mean, this type of stuff has been going on for a long time now, even before.
It has.
So, and that's more important everyone's telling you, if you go to counselors or any sort of organizations that are related to it, they'll say you have to talk about it, that it's healthy. It's healthy to speak about some of the struggles you've been through in order to kind of get through that and be able to move from it. So
admittance is the first step. So,
Exactly. No, absolutely. And so, sorry, I was going to say, speaking of which, how, I know we've kind of gone to how your music has helped you along the way, but now that we did mention the pandemic, has anything changed? Have you dealt with some struggles, some losses? Have things happened for you? And does that really?
Yeah, it's been a crazy up and down year. For one, I work in the service industry, which got hit pretty hard, which is crazy because when I was a kid, I was told people are going to need to eat. You're good no matter what. Yeah, but they don't have to go out and pay to eat. That's the difference. They can just go to the grocery store. So especially with all the compliances and all the lockdown stuff and people not being able to go out to restaurants, sit in groups, minimum attendances. A lot of places have closed their doors, and I was like, I lost my hours at both of my restaurants because we're a tourist industry as well. We had nobody coming through, so that was one of the hardships I took. I lost, although I did eventually, get back and find an even better job than I had before, which really helped with the mental health, because losing your jobs in the middle of a pandemic with no way to get is a depressing thing, and it can weigh heavy on you. And I was just laying in bed. I didn't want to get out of bed some days. I was like, and like, what's the point? What am I gonna do?
Right.
Play video games today? Okay, I played enough video games. Like I'm trying to do something. But thank God I'm a creative, and those days where I didn't want to get up, well, I would get up and I'd listen to a beat, or I'd come up with some ideas with the homies, and we would try and beat this thing, and throughout it, I thank God I have such a nice tight group of friends that, we still got together every Thursday to play board games and shit. And without that, man, I probably would have went a little stir crazy, a little bit more crazier than I did, like to the point where I was like, man, we're restarting weekly words. I sat on so many ideas, and all throughout the year, I just calculated how I'm going to do these things. And then losing my job, I was like, man, this is making it a little bit hard for me to do the things that I want to do. But I was able to, overcome, adapt, improvise, improve, which is what we all got to do. And, if not even with the pandemic, if you're not happy doing something and you're doing it, there's always something else. Don't limit yourself due to a restriction. There's always ways to beat and to overcome the problems. I know this pandemic has hit a few of my friends really hard, and I almost lost one of my homies, and that was a close call. And it just shows, man, just like reaching out and just saying, hey, what's up, what's popping, you want to come watch a movie or something, or that goes a long way with people. Going for a short little walk with people when they didn't got nothing, like if somebody would have hit me up while I was lying in bed, like, yo, let's go for a walk, 100%. And you know what? I probably would have felt better for 2 weeks after that and forgot that I was ever in a slump for a minute. But yeah, through the pandemic, I've had some challenges, but thank God for the music. It really did put a stunt on my weekly words last year for we only got 3 songs in, and we had to cut it, and we didn't even finish the third one. We were doing video shoots, and that all got cut. And it took a toll, but we're back, we're kicking, we're fighting.
No, and that's a good thing, because a lot of us, and I've seen people who have given up. They've just stopped. There's no more music coming out. There's no more even talks of music coming. There's no more promo. Yeah. There's no more connection. And I think it's because of the stuff that we're going through, and we think that it's just going to overtake our ability to continue on and to continue focusing on the things that make us happy, the passions that we have, the reason we got into this in the first place. So I can appreciate what you're saying, and good for you, man. Like, being able to continue on and be able to fight through this thing, it's not an easy thing to do. So
it's not. And I speak for me, and I speak for a lot of people I know, like my friends, man. Like I said, we get together every Thursday, and to some of my homies, they don't even have work right now, so those Thursdays are their only get out interactions. And that's why we play board games, but sometimes we don't start playing for the first hour, because we're just sitting there catching up, saying what's up, how you been, what's the week been like, and you definitely need some homies through this, because you definitely need somebody to talk to. Like you said, you talk to anybody. If there's a problem going on, you have to have somebody to talk to, whether it's minor or not. If you don't have a way to let it out, it's just going to fester and snowball. So having somebody around, having people around is really, really clutch.
I think it's the lacking. I think it's the lacking in human element, in human interaction, the lacking in that is driving everybody to be feeling so isolated and so low.
Well, you got that, and then you got the fact that nobody's at work anymore, and they all got time to go on the internet, and they're all going to find stuff on the internet that they don't like. And it's going to make them feel one way or another about a certain certain group or a certain person, you know, whether it's an actor doing something out of line or out of color, or whether it's a group of people that believe in something you don't, whether that be religious or activist intentions. You know, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna argue, and all that causes is fractioning of the people and the separation of them, which causes inner chaos and inner turmoil. So instead of us all trying to, like, you know, come together and stuff, you out there hating on the next person you see, either A, because he supports something you don't, he's wearing a mask and you don't, or vice versa, or he's a different creed or color, or it's got us so not ready to trust your neighbor. They got people, they are urging you to call the police on your neighbor if you see them having people over. That means if your grandma comes by to say, honey, I love you, and drop you off some groceries and stay for dinner, your neighbors are encouraged to call the cops on those kinds of behavior, which is, to me, it puts everybody on edge. Like, who's watching? Who's gonna come at me on some dumb stuff? And that just makes you turn around, and now you don't trust your next person, you don't trust your neighbor, you don't trust the people that are in your community anymore, because they've caused such a separation of people. And then now these orders are in effect, and it's the same thing. You can't be with anybody that's not in your household.
Right.
That means you can't go to your mom's, grab something. You can't, no, you're not even allowed to leave your house. If you're out on the streets and they pull you over and you're not essentially doing something, it just causes turmoil. And and you're right, it is the lack of human interaction, and we're a social creature. That's how we became who we are, is creating these social structures and built them up. And we turned from hunter-gathering parties to villages to communes to farmlands to kingdoms to castles to cities. You know what I mean? Like, it all started because we were talking. We were with each other. And now that you've taken that away from us, it's not in our nature to sit isolated away from your loved ones and just your friends in general and stuff. And that takes a toll on you as a person, your soul, and everything you got in you, your energy. You're not the same every day. If I get up and see my homie every day, it's like, hey, you know, we keep the energy up. If I get up and I'm staring at my walls or I'm watching TV, I'm not getting the same stuff. And the same thing, you're not going outside, you're not getting vitamin D in you, which is very helpful around the body to do a lot of processing. And now everybody's sitting indoors and you're not getting what you need. And it's just all chaos and turmoil, which really sucks because everybody's already in a state of depression, and I feel like it's just making it worse.
No, and I feel the exact same way. In fact, a lot of the things that I've done on a real level, a lot of my history and the things that moves that I may have made under duress or under like a really stressful situation, I realized after the fact was probably not the smartest thing to do or to say in that circumstance. And it's all because of this, like I said, a caged dog mentality. Like, it's like a mentality in your mind where you feel caged and you can't really do anything, and you're seeing losses in your friends. People have passed away. People have died because of stressful situations. Houses have been foreclosed on. Jobs have been lost. Relationships, people are breaking up now because of this, because they're constricted in this lifestyle now and they can't do anything about it. Now, that's where I wanted to move towards, speaking on this stuff, which is the most important thing. And the only way that a lot of these people can even contribute to somebody else is by speaking on it and saying, listen, I've been struggling too, man. You know, I've been struggling too. There's a lot of things that have been going on too. And if we speak on it as creatives, we can change somebody else's perspective, because if we unify people together, then that will show that we're not in this alone, that we are together with other people, and these are the people that follow you and believe in what you're doing anyways. So why wouldn't you want to reach out to those people? And that's basically what SpeakOnIt is all about. So thank you for taking the time to interview. Thank you for talking about it, because you know what? This is exactly what's going to change. This is going to change everybody's perspective. This may even, I dare say, change the music industry, because motivating other people and reaching out and being positive, those positive vibes will cut through all that negativity tenfold any day. So that's really what it's all about. And we do appreciate guys like you, especially taking your time to talk about it. So thank you. Anytime you want to reach out, you know where we are. We do appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Les, thank you.
Take care, man.